I'm Tracy Heilers. I'm founder and executive director of Coalition of Schools Educating Mindfully, sometimes called COSM or COSM to make it a little bit shorter. And some of you are members, some of you are new members. So after we have our self-care today, if you want to stick around and ask me any questions when we're all done, I will be here. But we really support educators, and now we're starting to support school community members, you know, parents and teens and youth, extending our services to them. But we're fairly new. We're about 2.5 years since launch. We started by hosting a conference, and then we had a second conference, and then we collaborated on a book with over 40 educators to kind of give a snapshot of what mindfulness looks like in schools right now. And then in the fall, this fall, we launched our professional membership. So we do self-care sessions almost every week. Each month we do PD sessions, mentorship sessions. So it's kind of like a co-op in that, you know, we have a lot of experienced members and they share their gifts like Ursula will do today. And then we also bring in a lot of experts. So the more members we have as we grow, the more funds we'll have to bring in expert trainings, because I'm sure if you've done any of them, we know it can get expensive, our PD. So as a co-op, we can make it affordable for everybody. And hopefully we'll find some big funders so that it's free for everyone. But we do give scholarships to anybody who asks. So definitely don't hesitate. You can always reach me at hello@educatingmindfully.org. And this is going to be really laid back. I'll have Ursula introduce herself now, and we'll do some self-care. And then if you have to pop off, it's a Friday night, we have busy lives. You know, use what Ursula leads as an inspiration, but this is your own practice. So if she inspires you to move in a different way and she'll tell you this, make it your own. But we hope afterwards you can stay on maybe a little bit to connect and share some of what's happening in your schools around adults SEL and such. All right, Ursula, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And I'm so happy to see some new as well as familiar faces here. And yes, my name is Ursula Koffer. I'm an instructional coach in District 15, Brooklyn. I've been teaching mindfulness to my district for the last 2 years now, as well as yoga, and I've opened it up to the DOE. So we'll do some breathing exercises. Anything that you do here with me, you can do with your students, your families, if you lead schools, your faculty. It really transcends all age groups and anyone that you work with. Can everyone see me before we start? Is there anyone that can't? Okay, cool. And hearing is okay? Sound is okay? Awesome. Okay, so the first thing I'd like for us to do is place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. And you can either keep your eyes closed, or if you prefer, you can keep them open. If you keep them open, I just invite you to have one focal point. And just get a sense of where your breath is for a moment. Maybe your breath is a little fast. Maybe it's slow. Wherever you're at. Okay. So we're going to do a breath. It's a belly breath, and it starts with the belly, and then ribs, and then chest. So for the inhale, it's belly, ribs, and then chest. And on the exhale, it's chest, ribs, and belly. So we'll do a count of 3 breaths, about 3 seconds, but it doesn't have to be. And exhale on the way out. Use your chest, breathe in. And breathe out, chest, ribs, belly. One more time, breathe in, belly, chest, ribs. And breathe out, chest, ribs, belly. One more time, breathe in, Okay. The next breath I'd like to do with all of you is called 3 collective breaths. I love doing this activity, particularly when transitioning back from maybe a lunch activity, or if kids are in cluster, or if you're with your family after you're transitioning back home. It's just a really easy way to center. So we're going to use the same count of 3 breaths. We'll inhale for a count of 3 through our nose, and then we'll exhale with a sigh through our mouth. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale Another breathing activity that kids love is the Darth Vader breath. I don't know if you're Star Wars fans or if you have any family members or students who are Darth Vader or Star Wars fans. We'll demonstrate that breath. It's the same inhale, count of 3, exhale, count of 3, except so we'll do that together. Inhale, exhale, count of 3. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. The next activity I'd like for us to try is a finger tracing activity. So if you put your hand in front of you, and I don't know if you remember, I know when I was a kid before Thanksgiving, we would trace our hands either on a paper plate or on a piece of paper, and we put like googly eyes on it to make it like a turkey. So this kind of reminds me of that. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your pointer finger and you're actually going to slowly gently draw your left pointer finger up the left side of your right thumb. And you can reverse it vice versa if you're using the opposite hands. On your inhale, exhale as you gently trace your finger down the right side of your thumb. Inhale, draw your finger up the left-hand side of your left pointer. Exhale, take your finger down the right side of your left finger. Inhale, take your left finger, draw it up the left side of your right middle finger. Exhale down. Inhale up your ring finger. Exhale down. Inhale up your pinky. And exhale down. So all of these activities get you to focus just on your breath. I want us to do one more sort of self-care piece that isn't stretching or movement before we dive in. I don't know how many of you sit at a laptop or a desktop or on your cell phone for long periods of time per day. I'm making an assumption that a lot of you are. So I invite you to take your right thumb and you're actually going to massage the inside of your left palm. So I'm doing it to demonstrate. It might be more comfortable for you to have your palm face you. I know I loved this when I tried this for the first time. And just give yourself some love and self-care for getting through the week, Getting yourself into a relaxed state before we go into spring break, at least in New York. And now I invite you to move your thumb and massage your knuckles one finger at a time. Underneath your pointer. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And now move towards your middle finger. You're on the palm side of the knuckle of your middle finger. And then move to the knuckle underneath your ring finger. And then underneath your pinky. And then go back to your thumb, because your thumbs need the most love. And now let's try the same thing on the opposite hand. So now you're taking your left thumb and you're placing it underneath the thumb, kind of by that, well, it's right side to you, right underneath your thumb to your hand. Now do the same thing underneath your pointer finger. Underneath your middle finger. Underneath your ring finger. And underneath your pinky finger. And go back to your thumb. Okay. I hope that feels really good for your hands. We'll now begin to stretch. So I invite you to place your left hand on your right knee, and your right hand will go behind you. On your inhale, we'll do mostly counts of 3 on our inhale and counts of 3 on our exhale. On our inhale, we're sitting on our sit bones firmly. Imagine that there's a string that's pulling through your entire spine and through the top of your head. Breathe in, lengthen your spine. Exhale, turn right as far as you can towards your back wall. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper towards your back wall. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, use that exhale to see if you can twist a tiny bit deeper. And then slowly return to center. We'll now do the same thing on the opposite side. Take your right hand on your left knee and your left hand behind you. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, twist left towards your back wall. You might hear or feel a crack. It's perfectly fine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, a little bit deeper. Slowly return to center. So for our next stretch, I invite you to take your right forearm and elbow, place it to the right of your right thigh and knee. Your left sit bone remains on the ground. It's very easy for it to pop up, so really try to make sure it stays on the ground. Left arm reaches over your left ear, left fingertips pointing down towards the right side of you. Make sure your obliques are facing the ceiling. Breathe in, lengthen. Breathe out, reach your left fingertips a little bit further down towards the right side of your body. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach out a little bit further. Inhale and exhale. Slowly return to center, and we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. Left elbow and forearm to the left of your left thigh and knee. Right sit bone stays rooted on the mat. You might feel differently on one side. then on another, tighter on one side, then on another, that's perfectly fine. Right arm goes over your right ear, right fingertips are pointing down towards the left side of your body. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly come out, return to your Sukhasana or easy seat position. I invite you to now take your arms over your head. The screen does cut off my arms. I invite you to interlace your fingers, one hand over the other. Doesn't matter if it's right over left or left over right. Inhale. On your exhale, see if you could reach your palms a little bit higher towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, see if you could reach them a little bit further towards the ceiling. And then release, keep your hands clasped, but they're not stretched out towards the ceiling. I now invite you to take your opposite hand. So if you had your left fingers over your right fingers, take your right fingers over your left and vice versa. And we're now going to see how that feels. Inhale. Exhale, take your fingertips higher towards the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. Okay. And now I invite you to transition into a tabletop position. So in tabletop, your shoulders and elbows are over your wrists, your back is flat, your knees are at a hip width distance. And check in with your breath here. For cow position, I invite you to lift your tailbone and lift your head, face and chest towards the ceiling. Your belly button is towards the floor or your mat, and your back is shaped like a hollow letter U. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. For cat pose, tuck your belly button in towards your spine as you lower your tailbone and you lower your head, and your back is now in a hump shape. And really try to activate your core. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And now I invite you to take independent cat and cow shapes. Use your breath to guide you. And really activate your core. On your exhale, if you wish, you're welcome to tuck your belly button in towards your spine rather than release your belly. That's more of a Pilates breath, but it really strengthens your core. Feel free to wiggle side to side, make yourself comfortable. If you wish, you can also lean your hips over to one side and then another, just to see how that feels. Draw circles with your hips in one direction and then another. Okay, and whenever you're ready, I invite you to touch your toes together as you walk your knees towards the outer edges of your mat. Lower your tailbone towards your heels as you walk your arms out in front of you for child's pose. Child's pose is always available to you, no matter what. Yogi's choice, you can also clasp your hands and take them behind your head. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. I invite you to now slowly come out, and you're going to make a slightly wider tabletop. So your hands will be a little bit further apart than they were before when they were directly under your shoulders. Your knees and your feet are also a little bit further apart. Inhale, root your palms and toes into the mat as we prepare for downward dog. Exhale as you lift your tailbone towards the ceiling for your first downward dog for the class. So in downward dog, you want to make sure your head is in between your biceps. It shouldn't really be higher than your biceps because you don't want to strain your neck. Your palms and your heels are towards all four corners of your mat. Pedal down your feet, right and left, left. To stretch your calf out. And this is a great position for people who are sitting at a desk or on a laptop or a desktop all day. This really stretches out your entire body. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. If you wish to deepen your strength, you're welcome to bend, deepen your stretch. You're welcome to bend your knees until your chest is close to your thighs, and then you lower your heels down again. Your heels do not need to touch the mat, and your legs do not need to be straight. You do want to be in a V formation. Take one last breath. Breathe in with your palms and toes into the mat. Breathe out, slowly slide your shoulders and elbows directly over your wrists for plank. If you're not feeling plank, feel free to take your knees to the mat. You can also take your elbows to the mat, or you can take your elbows and your knees to the mat. Wherever you're at, we're going to stay here for a count of 3. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, root your palms and toes into the mat, or your elbows and toes into the mat. And breathe out, lift back into a downward dog. If your wrists are bothering you, feel free to stay on your elbows for a modified thousand, wherever you're at. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Root your palms and toes into the mat on your inhale. Exhale, slide back into your plank of choice. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Put your palms and toes into the mat. Inhale, exhale, tailbone lifts for downward dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel free to take your hips from side to side. See how that feels. Breathe in and out. Walk, skip, hop, or jump to the front of your mat into a forward fold. Just gonna lift this a little bit. So in forward fold, your knees are bent, your shoulders are down, your back is rounded, your chest is towards your thighs, your face is towards your knees. And your hands can either be by your toes, heels, shins, mat, or foot, yogi's choice. Please make sure your knees are bent. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Take your hands to your shins, flatten your back for a halfway lift. Halfway lift means your back is straight, and if you wish, you can gently pull your hips and your tailbone towards your back wall as you slowly lengthen your back a little bit more, head towards the front of your mat. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. breathe out. Slowly, one vertebra at a time, roll up to your standing mountain pose. Take a breath here in standing mountain pose. So in standing mountain pose, your arms are alongside of you. If you remember the string from earlier this class, that string is moving from the base of your spine all the way up to the top of your head. Breathe in and breathe out. This is a grounding position, so I invite you to make sure that all 3 points of your soles are rooted into the mat. There's a point underneath your big toe, a point underneath your heel, and a point underneath your pinky toe. Picture yourself rooted on those 3 points for each foot. Breathe in and breathe out. In and breathe out. Breathe in, take your arms over your head for an extended mountain pose. So my arms are cut off, but trust me, my palms are facing each other. So make sure your palms face each other and your fingertips are pointing towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Breathe out. On your exhale, take a gentle back bend, maybe an inch, maybe a half inch, or not. You can keep your back straight if you want to. And then come back up. Breathe in and breathe out. Swan dive down, hinge the hips back into your forward fold. This is a hamstring stretch, so you don't have to worry about not having perfectly straight hands. You might want to grab your opposite elbows with your hands and then just swing from side to side. Also feel welcome to slide your palms underneath your feet with your toes touching the insides of your wrists. Take one last inhale and exhale. Hands on shins, flat back for halfway lift. We also call it pike. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And then slowly roll up to your standing mountain pose. Beautiful. Breathe in, arms are over your head for an extended mountain pose. Breathe out, gentle back bend. Breathe in, extended mountain pose. Breathe out, swan dive down into a forward fold. Breathe in, root your palms into the mat this time. Take your left foot to the back of the mat for a lunge. So your right foot is in between your 2 hands and your left foot is behind you. Yogi's choice, you're most welcome to take your back knee to the mat. Or keep it off the mat. Either way, make sure that your hips are squared, so your right hip is towards the back of the mat and your left hip is towards the front of the mat, so we can keep our hips healthy. Breathe in and breathe out. Make sure that your knee is directly over your ankle. Your thigh should be parallel to the mat and your knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, left leg lifts and meets the right foot at the front of the mat and you're back into your forward fold. Exhale. Breathe in, arms are over your head for an extended mountain pose. Gentle back bend. Back into your extended mountain pose. Inhale. On your exhale, swan dive down, hinge the hips back into your forward fold. We'll now do the same thing on the opposite side. Root your palms into the mat. And now take your right foot to the back of the mat for low lunge. Again, double check to make sure that your knee is over your ankle, thighs parallel to the mat. You can take your back knee to the mat. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, lift your left leg and have it meet your right foot at the back of the mat for plank. You're welcome to take your knees to the mat or keep them off the mat, yogi's choice. We're going to do a Chaturanga, which is a lowering, and you could either lower everything down all at once, or you can lower your knees, then your chest, and then your chin. Just keep your elbows alongside of your chest to protect your elbows. Take one cheek to the mat. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Take your head and now face it about 6 inches in front of your mat. And we'll take baby cobra. So for baby cobra, just lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. Your belly's rooted into the mat. Your pelvis is rooted into the mat. The tops of your thighs and the tops of your feet are rooted into the mat. You might feel a gentle stretch in your lower back. I invite you to lift your hands off the mat about a 1/2 inch just to get a feel. And then lower them down. One more time, feel free to lift your fingers off the mat and lower them down. Root your palms and toes into the mat on your inhale. Exhale, tailbone lifts for downward dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in, right leg lifts into a downward dog split or a 3-legged dog. Make sure that your hips are squared, your left hip is towards the back of the mat, your right hip is towards the front of the mat. Exhale, right foot to the front of the mat into your low lunge once again. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Root your left palm into the mat on your next inhale. Exhale, right arm lifts towards the ceiling for a low lunge twist. Keep your hips squared. It's really easy to dump into your left hand. Imagine that string from before, except now your arms are in T formation. So the string is coming across your left and right arm, pointing towards the ceiling. A low lunge twist left, low lunge twist left. The weight is balanced between your left hand, your left toe, and your right hands. Look up at your fingertips, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Lower your right hand to the mat, back into your low lunge. Take your back knee, shin, and top of your foot to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, chest lifts off your thigh, arms are over your head for a modified crescent moon. You don't need to do a back bend, you're welcome to. Please make sure your front knee is bent and your hips are squared. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly return your hands to the mat. Tuck your left toe into the mat. Right foot meets the left foot in plank. Lower everything down, either knees, chest, chin, or all at once. Elbows near your chest at all times. Exhale. Inhale, you're welcome to either repeat baby cobra, or if teenage cobra is in your practice, you're welcome to lift your chest a little bit higher. Make sure that your knees are rooted into the mat as well as the tops of your feet. Your shoulders and your elbows should be directly under your hands. Look up at the ceiling. It's a slightly deeper back bend. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Tuck your toes and your palms into the mat on your inhale. Exhale, tailbone lifts for downward dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Left leg lifts into a downward dog split. Hips are squared. Right hip towards the back of the mat. Left hip towards the front of the mat. Exhale, left foot to the front of the mat for lunge. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in with your right palm into the mat. Breathe out, left arm lifts towards the ceiling for low lunge twist left. Again, use that same string that pulls across your arms. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly return your left hand to the mat, back into your low lunge. Take your right knee or your back knee to the mat. Shin and top of your back foot to the mat as well. Inhale. Exhale, chest lifts off your thigh, arms are over your head, hips are squared. For a modified low lunge, or what we also call a modified half crescent moon. You're welcome to do a gentle back bend or keep your back straight, yogi's choice. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Lower your hands back to the mat for low lunge. Tuck your right foot into the mat. Left foot meets the right foot in a quick plank. And then lift your tailbone for downward dog. We'll take 3 breaths here. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Right leg lifts into a downward dog split once again. Inhale. Exhale, right foot to the front of the mat for lunge. Lower down your back foot so the sole of your back foot, in my case the left foot, is rooted onto the mat. Inhale. Exhale, chest lifts off your thigh. Cartwheel your arms out for warrior 2. So warrior 2, you want your knee to go into the direction sort of towards your pinky toe. You want your thigh to be parallel to the mat. Your knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Your back is straight. Look directly at your right middle finger and then quickly glance back at your left middle finger. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out.
And Ursula will go 5 more minutes, okay? So we'll do this on the other side and then move to closing practice.
You got it. Okay, so reverse warrior, right arm faces you, front arm, left hand goes down your back leg. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. And then slowly come back to your warrior 2. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Cartwheel your hands to the mat for low lunge. Right leg meets the left leg in plank. Lower everything down, either knees, chest, chin, or all at once. Exhale. You're welcome to either repeat your baby cobra or teenage cobra, or if upward dog is in your practice, it's almost like a teenage cobra, except your toes are rooted into the mat and your knees come off the mat. Please be careful if this is your choice for today. Shoulders and elbows stay over your wrists. Breathe in and breathe out. Look up at the ceiling. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and breathe out. Root your palms and toes into the mat. Inhale, exhale, tailbone lifts for downward dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in, left leg lifts into your downward dog split. Three-legged dog, square your hips. Inhale, exhale, left foot to the front of the mat for low lunge. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. On your exhale, roll down your back foot, so the sole of your back foot, in my case it's the right foot. Exhale, chest lifts off your thigh. Cartwheel your arms out into warrior two. I'll lift the screen a little bit. So in warrior two, you want to make sure that your feet are on the opposite edges of the mat. You want to look at your left middle finger, quickly glance back at your right middle finger, and imagine an imaginary line between the heel of your back foot and the middle of the instep of your back foot. Imaginary line between the heel of your front foot and the middle of the instep of your back foot. Back is straight. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay. Right hand goes down right leg, or back arm goes down back leg. Left arm faces you. Reverse warrior, peaceful warrior. Gentle back bend, front knee stays bent. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, look up at your left palm, breathe out. Slowly come out and return into your warrior two. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Cartwheel your hands back to the mat to your low lunge. Left foot meets the right foot in plank. Take your knees to the mat. Touch your toes as you lower your tailbone towards your heels and stretch your arms out for child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Whenever you're ready, I invite you to slowly come out back into your Sukhasana or easy seat where we began. And I thank you for showing up for yourselves today as we close out SEL Day and SEL Week. I thank you for showing up for me. I'm going to stick around if you have any questions, and I can put the breathing exercises that I've done into the chat if you like. I don't know if I'm allowed to say namaste, so thank you.
Thank you. Oh, wow. That feels so good. And if you want to stay, just lay down and do Shavasana for a few minutes. We do have time. I think because we're a smaller group of 11, like I originally thought we would do like 10-minute breakout rooms, but just let yourself relax another minute, laying down or sitting and meditating for another minute. We'll do another minute of silence here. feel free to just keep laying down or sitting. I thought we'd spend our next 10 minutes or so sharing some of the ways that adult SEL is being prioritized, or maybe not prioritized in our schools. And maybe it first starts just with us setting an example of how maybe we're setting an example in our school. So maybe while everybody's still kind of coming out of Shavasana, you could start for us, Ursula, just for a minute. I think we'll have everybody we have enough time for everybody to share for a minute if they like. Something that might even just be a resource that you're using for your self-care or in your schools that might be exactly what someone else is looking for. Oh, I want to unmute you, sorry. I muted you.
There you go.
Yeah, I had muted you while we were being in silence.
Smart. Thank you. I appreciate that. So 2 years ago, I got certified to teach yoga and mindfulness through a program called Breathe for Change, which is designed for educators. So it's specifically designed for teachers, social workers, guidance counselors. And with that 200-hour yoga teaching certification, I also got a 20-hour mindfulness certification. I was fortunate to be able to do that during contractual work time. So, and my superintendent paid for it out of our district budget. We got lucky. We got a grant. I am very fortunate. She did say to me, so Ursula, what are you going to do for us? And that's a very fair question. So I don't work for a school. Well, technically I'm redeployed to a school until June 30th, but I work for a district in Brooklyn and I have 36 schools. So I serve on a superintendent's team as a coach. I said I can do mindfulness lessons for parents. I can do mindfulness lessons for principals, for guidance counselors, for social workers. I could do a faculty for an individual school. And I've done all of that. I've taught yoga to moms. I've taught yoga to principals. I've done community classes when we were all in the pandemic for teachers and parents in my district. And I've done all of those things, and in addition, I've also had the opportunity to teach mommy and me yoga, where I use this Medi Teddy, who's absolutely amazing. I have him wearing his mask and his shield, friendly reminder to kids, and I have the matching book. So when I do the mommy and me classes, what's great about Medi Teddy is that he bends. So his whole body, he's a stuffed animal, his whole body contorts into a bunch of different shapes. And for the thematic learning purposes, I've bought the book as well, Medi Teddy, which I think is incredible. The kids love him. The kids can't get enough of him. So when I do the mommy and me in schools, I've done some phys ed classes along with the phys ed teacher. The kids can't get enough of Medi Teddy. They just love him. Whenever I bring him out, they're just so excited. And I've been using him on the screen as well as in person prior to the pandemic, and then on the screen during the pandemic. My district also has an equity congress as well as a youth equity congress. The grant that funded my ability to get this is through a desegregation grant that we received from New York State. So monthly we have groups of parents, teachers, principals, assistant principals, guidance counselors, social workers, the like, gather to talk about issues around race and equity. So I do a mindfulness piece for them either at the beginning of the session or at the end of the session. And I do the same thing for the Youth Equity Congress. So it's mostly breathing activities. And the yoga is usually more for like a group of parents or for a group of kids in a school or the community yoga classes. I think I spent more than a minute. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You're our special guest, and we knew you had lots to share.
Thank you.
You know what, next I want to just do a shout out to Mimi, who's here, and she's a former board member, and she's with DeKalb Regional Office of Education, which is far west of Chicago in a rural area. So we got the opposite of New York City. And what kind of supports, you're a SEL consultant there still, right? Can you share a few supports that you do for your schools?
Yeah, hi everybody. They're just kind of getting on the bus, but I threw in here that I've been doing, first of all, thank you, Ursula, for teaching us. And it was a nice way to end the week. And then I threw in here our beautiful Garfield Park Conservatory, which is actually close to Chicago, the city, is doing virtual yoga on Saturdays. So I put the link in there. It's kind of cool because anybody can then visit the Garfield Park Conservatory. But the most impactful, I would say, systematic thing we've done in DeKalb has been the study of this book, Onward, on resilience and teacher resilience. And she also has a workbook, which is buried somewhere on my desk. But the workbook has activities, several of which are about mindfulness. And that's kind of the in that I've been using, and then that principal has been able to invite us to do mindfulness every time we present on the book. So it's been pretty cool at that school. We'll see. Slowly but surely. So thanks for having all the cool stuff.
Thank you, Mimi. Does anybody else want to go and share a little something?
I'll go. So thank you so much, Ursula. I had parent-teacher conferences and like just being wound up from the day, being able to just relax my central nervous system. I was like, this is what I needed. So I'm so grateful. And just like you, I'm a graduate from Breathe for Change. So at my school, I teach yoga. I'm a school counselor primarily, but anytime I get the students in groups, we do mindful movement, yoga, breathing techniques. I even did yoga for a wellness day for the staff. So I used to also teach health education, and I teach health education over the summer still at Stuyvesant High School in Manhattan. So I'm really trying to incorporate more SEL. I feel like I've loved SEL from the time I started teaching, like almost 2 decades ago. So just to keep it going with all of the new push for SEL and making it more of a priority at my school, because the students are like, I have to study for the SATs. I have to do 18 million clubs. And I'm like, this will create more space for that. So just being able to, get more people on board with just these practices is where I'm at.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else want to share anything? Does Kristen want to share, or just kind of even share where you're from, and if you have any questions or what you enjoyed about the practice? Hi. Yep. Unmute yourself.
Thank you. Yes, I live in Cambridge, Mass, but I worked in the Boston Public Schools for 37 years. And I was doing a lot of teacher training, and I was bringing in these kinds of strategies, mindfulness, and anything I could do to help teachers chill out, because it was crazy. And now I'm working with a team of people. We're looking at a program called Awareness Through the Body from India, and we're trying to adapt it to the Western audience. And pretty soon we're going to start posting some really short videos, 3 to 4 minutes, for anyone. We're going to see who shows up. It's for kids, it's for parents, teachers, anybody who just wants to try this out. So it's not yoga, but it's moving the body, and it's about awareness, the witness attention, basically, and going deeper if you can. But you have to be careful about that stuff.
Have the supports.
Sorry?
Yeah, have the supports there for when you go deeper.
Well, it's just risky. All of this stuff you know, and I've been through this before, if people think, some people will say yoga is religion. And so anything that they think is going to be forcing them to expand their awareness is a challenge. So we may gear different videos and different, even different websites, I don't know, to different users. So thank you. This was just wonderful.
Anybody else want to share? Joyce, you want to share anything? Maybe a few people fell asleep in Shavasana. I always love when that happens. Linda, would you like to share anything? Or Johanna? I want to do a shout out on our book, and Mimi wrote a chapter for the book as well, kind of shared about what she did for her dissertation, right? And you were working at a Aurora University with a group of students, and you had done a Koru training, so definitely check out that book.
What's the name? Educating Mindfully?
Yeah, Educating Mindfully, Stories of School Transformation Through Mindfulness. And it has 40 chapters, each by a different educator. So like a chapter by a school nurse, a speech pathologist, PE teacher from Alaska, a school counselor. Yeah, so it just kind of it's showing how from a different role in your school, you can bring mindfulness. And then it kind of expands as it goes. So bringing it school-wide, district-wide, and beyond. Barnaby Spring from New York City Department of Education wrote an amazing chapter about what's happening in New York. Yeah, so it's kind of like a field guide.
Great, thanks.
Well, yeah, I would love, if anybody else wants to share, we'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, it's at the hour, so I just really honor your time and just to be able to connect and see everybody at the end of the day. National SEL Day. So definitely stay on longer if you want to ask any questions. If you hadn't heard, New York City Department of Education, they accepted a donation from COSM to have a free group membership. So if you don't know about that yet, email me at hello@educatingmindfully.org and I'll send you a link to join for free. And again, we have scholarships for everybody. Really, we're trying to show that we are serving so many educators, and that will help us find funders to keep supports going at low or no cost. So send ideas my way of whatever supports you need. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you, Ursula.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great break if you're able to.
I know we're on spring break too here.
Okay, fabulous. I was like, oop, let me not rub it in. Okay, take care.